The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 287. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yapchan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is an investor and a trader, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Raman Gill. Raman, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show. I am a full-time Forex trader and founder of the website tradingwithvenus.com. I'm also a wife and a mother of two beautiful girls. I moved from India to Canada back when I was 20. So I'm first generation Indo-Canadian.
Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
One of the quotes that I really like here in regards to the self-confidence is by William Jennings Bryan. And he says, the way to develop self-confidence is to do the thing you fear and get a record of successful experiences behind you.
Thanks for sharing that quote. And I like that because for us to have courage or to be stronger is to face that fear, to feel that fear and do it anyway. Because if we don't, then that's how we become stuck. That's how we become conscious of what we do, we get scared and we forget to realize that fear is just an illusion, it's not real, and we can cure that by just taking action. So I really love that quote that you mentioned. In your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Actually, it's interesting that what you said about self-confidence, because that's exactly my definition of self-confidence. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. I don't remember ever in my life when I have had no fear, right? When I stop having fear, that's the time that I'm actually not growing. So every time I've moved to the next level, whether that's in my personal life or in my career, I've always had this fear with me, and I have over time learned how to use that fear and still do it. So it's each action that I take, it builds upon the previous action and it creates success in the end, which is really what brings self-confidence in me. So that quotation there is very, very applicable to my own life.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think it's something that we all do, right? We feel the fear, and sometimes a lot of people feel that fear and get stuck instead of feeling the fear and just going with it, right? Just taking the action, just taking the plunge, no matter what the outcome is. Just doing it makes you feel better, makes you feel stronger. So I really like that definition that we both mentioned. and what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I have always grown up with fear. So I can't describe myself as a overly self-confident person. I still have imposter syndrome, doesn't matter what kind of situation I'm in. Before, although now I know myself a little bit better, I'm more aware of who I am as a person and I'm more comfortable in my skin. However, before, I remember when I was growing up, I just had absolutely no self-confidence. I remember this one situation when I was in school. We were asked to raise your hand if you wanted to be in the gym class. Not the gym, sorry, in the gymnastics. And I was so scared. I could not put my hand up. All we had to do was put our hands up so the teacher can then come talk to us after. And I sat there in fear, like trembling, wanting to so badly to put my hand up and just not having the courage to do it. And then after that, I thought, okay, I'm going to go and talk to the teacher on my own. And it never happened. And I remember looking back a year later, they did a big performance at the end of the year. And I sat there and I sat through the performance just crying because I could have been on the stage participating in that performance as opposed to just sitting there and feeling sorry for myself. So that's one of the experiences I remember how I just didn't have the self-esteem.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, we all have gone through something where we're just so scared to the point that when it's passed by, it's like we kind of make that regret. It's like, why didn't I do it? I should have done that, and, things happen for a reason. We don't know what it may be, but, they happen and, maybe we're meant for other things. But sometimes that fear, just keeps us stuck to the point that we're just so afraid to do anything. And, what was that point in your life when you had the courage to just go out there and do what you love, even though you were scared of it? Like, what was that aha moment?
So that particular experience, I think, taught me a very valuable lesson. And the lesson really was that if I don't put my hand up, nobody else is going to do it for me. So I have to be the one who has to step up and just put my hand up. Like, don't worry about the rest. If I'm not a great gymnast, do not worry about it, but just take that action step. And since then, I think it was one of the turning points. And every time I remember I would sometimes get into this situation where it's analysis paralysis. I would think about something for so long that the opportunity would just pass me by. And I would be sitting there still thinking about it, and somebody would go and do what I wanted to do. So it's been a few moments like that, that being a key moment for me where I decided that at the very least, I'm going to put my hand up, and then we'll see what happens after.
Thanks for sharing that. And something as simple as just even putting your hand up can be scary, right? Especially in school, because sometimes we were afraid of people making fun of us or telling us we're stupid or even getting the wrong answer. So, what was your life like after that moment?
So now, since then, throughout the school, I started doing more things. So I started participating in like debates. I started delivering speeches and things like that. And I still remember I went into this debate competition, and the entire time my voice trembled. You could hear it as I was up there on the podium, basically reciting the speech that I had learned. So I had no self-confidence. However, just going up there made a huge difference. And so it's things like that that have now given me, today my life is so much different. When I first came to Canada, I had no money. There was, it was just, I was an immigrant. I didn't know the culture. I didn't know the country. And it was hard. I remember trying to, I would not buy can of soda for myself because I wanted to save the money for bus fare. So things like that. So now, since then, my first big step that I took was I went to school, and that was something I could not afford at the time, but I still make that decision. So it's been little decisions over time that has now compounded to me having, the comfortable life, being a trader, having a portfolio, and teaching other people how to take control of their financial life. So all of that has come from that. Even today, I have to say, every time I have a podcast, it's called Trading with Venus. Every time I have to do a podcast, I am just so scared, but then I still do it. So things are different in that I know now that fear is only in the moment, so I can work my way through that and move to the next level. So that's the major difference now. It doesn't just stop me from doing things.
Thanks for sharing that. And I'm the same with you when it comes to podcasting. I still get I still tremble. I still get scared. Sometimes you could hear in my voice when I do it, but, confidence is just taking that action, even if you have that fear, even if you have all those thoughts in your heads, like, what if someone thinks I'm stupid or no one's going to listen? You just go ahead and do it, and you never know what might happen. So I feel for you when it comes to podcasting. And, to our to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Again, it will be just the importance of taking action. And one of the things that, again, we get into thinking, okay, is this the right step, right? Like, what I've learned is it doesn't matter. Even if it's the wrong step, it's a step forward. So sitting in there and not taking any action is worse than taking the wrong action, because when you start on your journey, new things will show up, stuff will line up, universe will create opportunities that you may not have thought possible at the beginning. You wouldn't even have considered you would ever get that opportunity, but just because you started doing, things line up, and that has been my experience. Doors open up, you have these synchronicities in your life where you meet people, or somebody says something or puts you in touch with someone, and your journey takes a way different path than you would have expected. And another thing I want to say to all the women out there is an important lesson I've learned in my life is it's very, very important for us to be self-sufficient financially. So that's something I would just want to put out there, because I am in the financial industry. Don't be scared of looking at your expenses. So it's, again, your finances, because it's one of those things, it may be scary, but just do it anyway. Just start tracking things. Just look at the income that's coming in and start planning things with it in terms of investing. Even if you make small investments, just do it anyway.
Thanks for those awesome tips. And I believe also that as women we should be self-sufficient financially, because we never know what's going to happen. And sometimes taking the wrong steps actually lead us to the right steps, even if we can't see it at the moment. So I love the tips that you mentioned. And if our listeners wanted to connect with you or get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles you can share with?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is tradingwithvenus.com. And if someone wanted to get started in the financial markets, I have put together a free video course. It's a starter course, and it's called tradingwithvenus.com/Forex intro. So you can learn a little bit more about the financial markets if somebody's interested. But otherwise, tradingwithvenus.com. And I have a podcast called Trading with Venus. It's on iTunes and also on Stitcher. And my YouTube channel is also Trading with Venus.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Raman, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Raman's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Raman for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Not a problem. It was awesome having you on and share your story. So our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.